another one of those. LeBron and Kyrie, though, I mean, those were some good times. They were the league's top high-scoring duo during their 3 seasons as teammates. That was between 2014 and 2017. They scored 30 apiece in the same game, far more than any other duo. And speaking of those two, LeBron was. He had Kyrie top of mind on Mind the Game with our friend JJ Redick. Here's what he had to say about his former teammate.
So happy and so proud and to watch him and continue his growth or whatever the case may be. And at the same time, I'm so mad at the same time that I am not his running mate anymore. I have so many words to praise Kyrie that I end up with absolutely none. He's the most gifted player the NBA has ever seen. I've never seen a guy in my NBA life that feels better at times shooting with his offhand than he does with his primary hand. I've never seen nothing like that.
All right, so Kyrie requested a trade out of Cleveland in 2017. You played with LeBron in Cleveland. You played with LeBron here in Los Angeles, won a title with him in 2020. What do you make of this reminiscing from James?
I think everybody who has had Kyrie as a teammate is reminiscing. Any team, there's not a player or a teammate that's not missing Kyrie right now, the way he's playing. But yeah, you know, Bron had some great times with him. I don't know what he has up his sleeve. You never know with Bron, but it's funny to see. It's funny to watch. But I do hope to see it. I don't think we will see it.
You hope to see a reunion?
I think everybody wants to see a reunion. Everybody loves to see a good reunion. I don't think we'll get that. Bron has maybe a year or 2 left. I don't see Kyrie leaving Dallas.
Sign that extension.
Yeah, and I don't see Bron going to Dallas either, unless Bronny ends up there somehow and he makes some magic happen. But I don't see that happening. So that duo's over. It was fun while it lasted. We'll enjoy it when they're done playing even more.
There were a couple transaction windows in the last 2 years, including when the Mavs traded for Kyrie Irving, where the Lakers had a chance to go all in and get him, but that's spilt milk. You can't cry over spilt milk. You got to make do with what you have. And the Mavericks won an all-time trade by getting Kyrie Irving, and they ain't letting him go anytime soon. But LeBron is right. If he's not the most gifted player of all time, he's up there. For what this dude can do at 6'2", it's crazy. I once interviewed Karis LeVert 3-4 years ago about finishing at the rim and Kyrie Irving, and he told me, I used to sit there and watch YouTube videos of Kyrie teaching kids how to spin the ball off the backboard, showing people how to put English on the ball from right underneath the rim at crazy angles and make it go in. That's the whole NBA. Everybody in the NBA has just awe for what this guy can do around the basket with both hands at his size, and boy, what a great story in Dallas this year, and now we get to see it on the biggest stage.
For sure, at his size, I think he's the most skilled player in the history at his size. But we can't forget, we have Kevin Durant, we have a Victor Wembanyama. For guys at 7 feet, Chet Holmgren, like those guys be able to shoot, handle the basketball, they're pretty skilled and talented too. They have a lot left of career to go, so we don't know where they end up. But I definitely put Kyrie in the top 3 of probably most skilled in the history of the game.
Look, Kyrie is different, and I think it's amazing that he has embraced those differences to the point where we get to celebrate his game after all that he has gone through, some self-inflicted today. And when I first met Kyrie, it was in the McDonald's All-American game. Yep. And a lot of people were just playing video games in between our practices. Or Kai was reading a book. You know, he was doing probably some different things. But he was so intelligent, not just, how he approached the game, but just how he moves. Yeah. And I think you're starting to see the maturation all come together. And this all started with LeBron, right? Oh, shoulda, woulda, coulda, we coulda. He's so gifted. He's absolutely gifted, and Zach is right. His ball handling ability, I've never seen anything like it. His ambidextrous nature, never seen anything like it. To be able to whip it around, to knock down a game-winning shot with the left the way that he does. And then also his ability to just knock down, clutch shots. That's my favorite shot, 2016, the championship. Most impressive shot. When I think of Kyrie, I think of all these things for better or for worse at certain points in his career, but he has gotten himself back to the mountaintop. Yeah. And I think it's funny that LeBron's like, oh, I'm reminiscing. I was like, oh, it's very convenient to reminisce.
Well, when he's playing at this level, right, it's hard not to if you're LeBron James. Kyrie Irving, we all remember he was sitting courtside a year and change ago.
Boston's reminiscent.
Right.
Brooklyn's
There's a whole bunch of places that are
reminiscent.
But Dallas was able to get Kyrie Irving for Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, a first, 2 seconds. The Lakers package centered right around Russell Westbrook and a couple of first-round picks. The fact that they were able to get Kyrie Irving for that is one of the great steals in the NBA. But it's because of where he was at, not knowing whether or not we were going to get to see this focused, excellent version of Kyrie Irving. And the way that he's playing now, it's pretty hard to remember a reason why that would be the package for him, but it's incredible.
And I think what's cool is that you've seen similar compliments, but in different ways. LeBron James playing with Kyrie Irving brought out the best in him. Now Kyrie playing with Luka Doncic is bringing out the best in him. And they chose to embrace each other in a very difficult moment. But they're very similar, LeBron and Luka. LeBron has the athleticism. Luka might have the skill. You look at the numbers, you look at the usage. So it's interesting that he has found himself another partner in crime, even though LeBron's sitting back like, that reminds me of something.
Well, and when you're talking about, Zach, if you're talking about best all-time LeBron James partners, obviously Danny Green, one of those all-time great partners. But you're talking Dwayne Wade, you're talking Anthony Davis, and probably Kyrie Irving in some order, right?
Yeah, those three certainly top the list, along with Chris Bosh, who I think never gets enough credit for the sacrifices he made and the defense he played to kind of enable Miami to find the identity that it had. But peak Dwayne Wade, man, do not sleep on peak Dwayne Wade. I think he's still probably at the top of that list, even over Anthony Davis by a tiny bit and Kyrie, but it's close. Peak Dwayne Wade was a monster.
Yeah, it's got to be those three in some way, shape, or form. And then you start wondering, all right, why is LeBron asking this now? Is it just because the final stage?
It's a chess play.
Well,
but D-Wade, he did win 2 with D-Wade. He's won 1 with Kyrie, 1 with AD. So I'd have to go with Zach here.
He has a good arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. He's had some pretty incredible running mates. Zach Lowe, you're our incredible running mate. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here on NBA Today. While we are, though, on the topic of LeBron, this was pretty cool, guys. Before we bounce, James posted on social media earlier today congratulating Anthony Clater on his graduation. Now, you may wonder, who is Anthony Clater? He's the first ever college graduate from the I Promise School, which James started back in 2011. Clater was in the 3rd grade when he joined the program. And fast forward, he graduated early with a degree in criminology and justice studies from Kent State University. He attended on an I Promise scholarship, and Clater said that if it wasn't for the LeBron James Family Foundation, I do not know if I would have gone to college. So huge congratulations. That is so very awesome. Coming up here on NBA Today, we have a live postseason that's the highest on the Celtics roster in their quest for banner number 18. So, Zach, will he score more or less than 26 a game this series?
I'm going more. His three-pointer is due, and I bet we're going to have one of those games where he cracks 40. That'll help his average. I'm smelling a big Jason Tatum series.
If he smells it, it must be true. All right, next up, his partner in crime, Jaylen Brown, averaging 25 points a game these playoffs. Danny, do you expect him to average more or less than 25 in the finals?
Less, just a little bit.
Okay.
Because Porzingis is back, I think that's going to take away from, and the defensive load that he's going to have to carry guarding Luka and Kyrie. I think they're going to throw him on those guys at some point. So his leg is going to be a little bit heavier on that side of the floor. So a little bit less, but probably like 24.
Okay, let's take it to the Mavs now. Luka putting up the most points this postseason, good for 28.8 a game. Chiney, more or less.
More. Did you see how he finished Game 5? He made it look like slight work when their backs were up against the wall. He averaged 35 in the regular season, or 33, somewhere around there. 32 in this series. I think he's going to bring his best self to the final. So it's give me more, give me more.
Is that
Brittany?
I was like, give me. There we go. All right, so it's Brittany. All right, what about Kyrie Irving? It's been, up and down his scoring these playoffs. It just depends on what they need from him, right? Because he's doing everything, but he's currently at 22.8 per game. Danny, you going with more or less for Kyrie?
More. I think he's going to have to average more. For them to win or be in this series, he's going to have to average about 28 as well. So I can see Kyrie being back in Boston, bringing back his A game. He's going to go off.
You're not going to give us a blast of Brittany?
No, not that.
We got you. Step up your game during the playoffs with ESPN Bet, the official sportsbook of ESPN. Download today for the latest odds, boost, featured parlays, exclusive offers from our guy Big Perk, and more. So we know these two duos, Shanae, they are getting buckets. But what are you looking at when you're looking at these two?
Look, these two, actually, when you think about the big picture, this matchup is one of the best matchups that we have seen in isolation. Look at the duo right there, 60 points per game to 50 or so. So what I love about this is just how, if you see the graphic that we're about to pull up, the margin of difference between these guys are very, very similar when it comes to isolation scores in the game. As you can see right here, the Mavs actually have a slight edge. They're second in ISO points per game, and then you can see they're third in that category as well. So as I take it to the court, let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. And it starts with Kyrie Irving. Anthony Edwards wanted to smoke. What did Kyrie do last series? He had 27 points per game. He's 10 years older than Ant Edwards, but he was the one who had the bounce in his step, one of the best isolation scores. But here was the isolation play of the series. Luka Doncic versus Rudy Gobert. That guy averaged 32 and 9, but on this play, my gosh, he was dancing, and it was a crime. I know that was a shot heard around the world. How good is this duo in the postseason? Well, Luka